Dear loan officer, are you empowering your teams to be absolutely great for you, or are you enabling them to always need you? Pretty interesting question, right? And I believe one that we need to be asking ourselves daily as leaders of our teams, of a branch, of a region, whatever your role might be, leaders of your clients, leaders of your real estate partners and your financial partners. I'm not sure how many of you went to Vegas for the Mastermind 2017. I was this close to not going. But you know what? I'm very glad I did go. It was a last minute decision to join some of my Sierra Pacific colleagues. Always great to see them, but I also got to connect with a lot of others from around the country that I really only get to see through LinkedIn or Facebook. And when I go, I want to engage. No, I didn't attend every session, like I'm sure many of you that were there didn't either. But when I'm there, I want to engage. And I actually took a lot of notes because if I'm going to invest the time, the money, the effort to get there, I want to take at least something back. And one of the most impactful questions that was brought to me, I believe it was from Tim Brahim, who I always get lots of great nuggets from, was this idea of empowering versus enabling. And I want to bring it to you as well because it always gives me thought to reflect on how my day is going, my week's going, and if I'm stepping back in and not really letting my team solve problems. Because by solving problems, they will grow themselves and become better for you. And versus stepping back in every time your client has a question or a realtor starts to get frustrated, are you stepping back in and having to be the person who communicates everything? Which means you training your team to not deal with those things and pull you back in. So whether you're on vacation or sitting out on your lanai in Hawaii with your family trying to get a break and rejuvenate, you're going to be sucked back in and never really have the freedom that, if you're like me, we all got into this business feeling like, man, I got freedom of time. I can make my own schedule. Nobody's telling me when to be at my job. Sitting at my desk is open to whether or not I want to that day. I got no limit to my income. Sounds great. But then we end up working 60, 70 hours a week because we're always available and always on call. So the real question here is, are you empowering your team to be great for you? And if not, what else can you do? How can you step away? How can you hand off a file or a new loan and a new client to the next person in line on your team better and really build them up as the expert at this next process? I'm very clear when I meet with a client that, man, I'm great at 2 or 3 things. I'm amazingly gifted at 2 or 3 things. And then I gradually start to suck once you get me outside of that box. But the things I will beat everybody at is building a rapport with a client, helping simplify a very complex process, understanding the financial impact of this mortgage and owning this house and how it relates to all the rest of their financial goals, short and long term. Once you get me outside of that, I'm not as good. And so I have to go find an expert at the detailed part of this, okay? The making sure we get all the right documentation, your income's calculated correctly. Now, one, I say this because I don't want to do those things. Those are not the highest and best use of my time and my expertise and all the studying I've done for 20 years in this business. But also, I need my customer to know that I'm not the best person for everything that's about to happen after this. They are the best person, the person on my team who's about to handle it, whether it's your processor, your loan manager, your loan partner too, however you've structured your team, you've got to set them up and empower them to be great for you. You can coach behind the scenes, right? If something starts to go sideways, coach them on how to respond appropriately and handle the problem until they're good enough to do it on their own. But I encourage you, I implore you to really think about this question as I kind of present it in a fun way, as if I'm writing you a little letter. But I think a lot of us, if we really look at our activities and our actions and our responses, we are enabling those around us that we pay to be there to help us go out and do more of what we're amazing at. All right. Hope that helps. Wish you all the best. I will share more tips as I kind of review my notes from Mastermind. Great to see those of you that were there. For many of you who weren't there, happy to share anything, reach out. But I would love to hear other ideas if you want to put it in the feed on my blog here. on how you are empowering your team. I'd also love to hear what else you had as takeaways from Mastermind personally, because I'm sure I missed a lot of good stuff that was said. All right. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.